What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to go over how to properly work your rotator cuff, specifically the two muscles that are involved in external rotation, so the infraspinatus and teres minor. These are two muscles which are often neglected, lead to a lot of injuries, and it can be pretty tricky for how to actually stimulate and target these muscles because they're actually back here. So really just providing a visual to help you guys, something that really helped me out to help you visualize as you do these exercises to make sure you're targeting the muscles correctly, and then a couple different exercise variations you can do to help target these muscles properly. Let's get to it.
So here is literally the most basic diagram I could find. Nothing fancy, nothing super complicated. There's not a lot of wording. There's no wording. It's just very basic. And for me, looking at something like this really helps me to visualize what exactly I'm trying to do during these exercises when I'm trying to target these muscles. For both of the external rotators, they both attach to the back of the arm, so the humerus and the scapula, or our shoulder blade. The main concept is when we want to train these muscles is just to focus on bringing these 2 points closer together. That's done through moving or rotating our upper arm, our humerus, to the outside. And one cue I learned a long time ago that really helps me is that I imagine there's a broomstick that's through my elbow. And I imagine that my arm is rotating on this broomstick. There are a bunch of different methods we can use to train these muscles. We can use dumbbells, we can use bands, we can use cables. The main concept remains the same through all of these. It's just bringing these 2 points closer together by rotating our arm to the outside. The first version we're going to look at is just standing cable external rotations. Set the pulley to elbow height. Keep the elbow against your side and rotate your humerus, your upper arm outwards. Notice the really small range of motion. There's not a lot here. The main concept is to keep everything stationary except for that rotating of your arm to the outside. You'll just keep your elbow tucked against your side the entire time. Try to keep it in that same position. Rotate your arm out. For me, again, it just helps to, in my mind, visualize that diagram we just looked at. It really helps me to visualize that as I'm doing the exercise so I can focus on which muscles I'm trying to target, because you can't look at them, you can't see them. So by kind of having that mental picture in your mind just helps you to visualize as you're doing the exercise. You can also do lying dumbbell external rotations. Position your elbow against your side with your forearm across your stomach. Lift the dumbbell up by rotating your arm, rotating your humerus to the outside. Once you reach the top of the range of motion, pause briefly and then rotate your arm back down. Notice it's a different exercise. We're using a dumbbell, we're lying on our side, but it's the same basic concept, and that is rotating our arm away from our body. And you'll notice that here I'm using a rolled up shirt underneath my elbows. Some people like to use a rolled up towel. You don't have to do this. It just really helps you cue in to keep your elbow against your side. It keeps you from letting your elbow flare out, which targets and puts tension on other muscles. You can also do standing banded external rotations. With your arms, your humerus is abducted to 90 degrees. Just like the other versions, we want to keep everything stationary and just focus on rotating through our shoulder, rotating and moving our arms away from our body. There are a couple of different ways you can go about doing this exercise as far as how high you place the band or how low you place the band. That'll just depend on your degree of rotation in your shoulder. What I like to do is, you'll see I have it set here. I will again rotate my arms away from my body. I'll rotate them back as far as they will go while keeping my spine stationary. Once my shoulders are fully externally rotated, once they're fully rotated up and out like this, you'll notice that I pause briefly just because that's where tension's going to be the highest, at least in this position, and then I'll just rotate back to the starting position. One reason some people like to incorporate this variation where your arms are up is to incorporate a similar position and strain on the shoulder as when you do overhead activities, such as throwing a baseball or throwing a football or something like that. It helps to simulate that same position. And then one common mistake you often see made when people are trying to train these muscles is they will do this standing there with either some dumbbells or some plates in their hand and rotating their arms to the outside. Yes, they are doing the movement, they are rotating their arms to the outside like they should be. However, the problem is gravity is pushing the weight straight down. So instead of getting tension on the external rotators of your rotator cuff like you're trying to do, it's actually putting tension on your elbow flexors like your biceps. It's easy to get this confused because it's the same movement, it's just because of the method and because it's a dumbbell or because it's a free weight and because of the way gravity's acting, it's just not putting tension on the muscles we're trying to target. Whatever variation you want to use, the main concept remains the same, and that's just putting tension on these muscles while contracting them. So putting some sort of stimulus, some sort of tension on there through a band, through a dumbbell, through a cable, and then rotating your arm to the outside and focusing on contracting, bringing that humerus and scapula closer together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, show your support by hitting the like button below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any new information, and then share this video with a friend or on one of your social media platforms so we can help the channel and our community to grow. I'll see you guys in the next video.